In this video we're going to take a look at how to write Oasis style guitar progressions. Throughout the 90s, Oasis really dominated things, especially here in Britain. And one thing that's most overlooked is the guitar style of Noel Gallagher and some of the classic songs that he wrote, and how they had a very unique sound. And sometimes that's difficult to do, especially writing songs on acoustic guitar, is to be able to make them sound unique. And Oasis, I have to agree, have a very distinctive sound. And it's a shame really that sometimes with a lot of bands that almost the soap opera antics kind of overshadow the actual how good the music is. So I was never really interested in the whole persona of the band, but always found the chord progressions really interesting. And a few years ago I was teaching a guy called Julian, he might be watching this, and he was really into Oasis and Beatles style stuff and Noel Gallagher solo stuff. So I spent a lot of time looking at Noel Gallagher style, especially when it came to strumming acoustic guitar. And it is an interesting way of taking really simple chords and making the most of them. And when he alters chords, they always end up with names that long, but really are quite simple to do. And your best example is that of probably Wonderwall, which everybody, obviously the capo is on the second fret for Wonderwall for Oasis fans. Which again stands out is very unique. Now, if we look at the key of G, we have like that. Now I'm going to have to assume for this video that you already know that. If you don't know it, then take a look at it and learn. I'll put the chart on the screen. Now the chords that we're going to get from the key of G are G, A minor, B minor, C, D, and E minor. So if we use E minor as our first chord, for example, so that'd be in the key of E minor relative to G major, and then we go to G, then we have a D to A minor. So that sounds quite pleasant, but not particularly stand out unique, as it were. What Noel Gallagher's done is, in the case of Wonderwall, got his two fingers stuck here, and he's done his E minor but changed it to an E minor 7. Gone to the G, and then instead of doing a D, he's done a D suspended 4. And then instead of the A minor, he's just moved that finger along a one and done an A7 suspended 4. So that's not difficult. It sounds difficult, but it's not. So and that stands out and it pops out as being very unique. And you'll see a lot of Oasis songs with them chords, and like they say E minor 7, D suspended 4, D suspended 2, A7 suspended 4, them type of chords. So if we were going to go about changing things up to make your chord progressions more interesting, so you don't necessarily have to use this lesson to just sound like Oasis. It could be to make a chord progression sound more interesting. So if we took the key of G again, we'll move to B minor, to A minor. Now one thing that you'll notice in a few songs, and I think was Married with Children, when it came to like an F sharp chord, he left these two strings open. He did the same thing on the A and the B. this case, we're going to do the same thing with the B minor. We're going to leave the high A open. So it becomes a B minor added 11. And then, so we've got G, B minor, to A minor. But instead we're going to go G, and do an A7 suspended 4 instead. And that takes that makes it a little bit more interesting. Now in the case of the key of C, for example, we have a C, the F, and there's a number of things that go on when you look at a lot of Oasis songs. C, take that finger off for a C major 7, to F, which uses at the beginning of Don't Look Back in Anger, which is copied off John Lennon's Imagine. When we look at Half the World Away, which I always forget the name of, does the opposite. Instead of going from C to F, which is quite a common chord progression, he goes from C to the F major 7. And it stands out and sounds a lot more interesting than just that. And it really stands out. But one thing that you hear is descending bass lines. It goes from a C, a chord that is sometimes mistaken as a C/B, but it's actually a G6 suspended 4/B. Again, sounds really hard, but really going from the C, putting that finger to there, take that one off, to an A minor, D7. So that descending bass line, but the chords change from C to a G6 suspended 4/B to A minor. So it's not difficult, but the name sounds solid, and you see that in a lot of different songs. Just check my notes here. With Roll With It, where you have so I'll do that. Don't ever stand aside, don't ever be denied. Wanna be if you're done with you, come and want me. Think I got a feeling I'm lost inside. Da 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 da. Think I got a feeling da da. So what's going on there is you've actually got that chord. So instead of a C, you've got a C suspended 2. Again, dead easy to do. Do a G/B, and then moving that finger to an A7 suspended 4. So instead of going from C to G to A minor, you've got and that's what makes that song stand out. That's the little section that hits you, zaps you between the eyes. So when we look, I've put a chord sheet up for all the different types of chords that we see in Oasis songs. I might put the sheet in a link in the description. So when we can alter things, instead of C, you could have a C added 9. We could have a C major 7, which sounds more interesting. We could have instead of D minor, we've got D suspended 2 or D suspended 4, So we've got a whole range of different chords that we can use and that we can alter. So I hope this has given a few ideas of how to go about looking at chord progressions. If you take a look at, in the case of in the key of G, if you look at the actual key, you can see how you can alter. So you've got a D there, but you see the E notes there for the D suspended 2, the D suspended 4 is there. You could have the D6, you could have the D7, have a D7 suspended 4. There's a whole range of different ways of doing things. You've got the A minor, you could have an A minor 7, you could have a A7 suspended 4, you could do it with a G. So the clever thing about his chord progressions as well is sometimes, as in the case which refer back to a lot of his Wonderwall, whereas there's not a lot going on, it's just one movement. That's worth looking at as well. So as always, thank you for watching, and I hope that helps you be able to play Oasis chord progressions.